Well, good morning. Here we are in August. Wow, imagine that. So we are into, and by my calculation, going into about our 6th month of our COVID-19 experience as a society. And we've had lots of consternations, lots of challenges, lots of changes. And so I thought that it would be fun and interesting to pick Wayne Dyer's book, Happiness is the Way, as our theme for this month. And it sounds appealing, doesn't it? I mean, we keep looking at all the things that we don't like. We don't like to wear masks. We don't like to do these and that. But listen, the first chapter of his book is entitled Respond with Ability. And that's going to be our message today. So we know our life is what we make of it, and we are responsible for whatever is coming into our life. And many times, as far as us and our religious science training, we can fall into that trap of blaming ourselves, thinking, how did I bring this upon myself? You know, because you're thinking, it reflects back out into your experience. What was I thinking? How could I have done this to me? And so we don't want to go there at all. Wayne Dyer says there are two different types of people. There is a self-defeating person, and there is a no-limit person. So how do we become a no-limit person? Because honestly, everyone has problems in life. You can think that you're going to go through life just pristine without any kind of challenges, and that's not the way it works. He gives us the examples. Everybody is going to have to wait some time for a ride in the rain. Everybody has to deal with inflation. Everybody, hopefully, has to deal with getting older, with sickness, when our children disappoint us. The no-limit person looks at these problems and responds to them on that level, where the no-limit person responds to it with, where can I go from here? What is this going to teach me? How can I use this situation? They look at it as not a problem, but they look at it in a different way. This is a key element. When you look at what's happening in life, don't look at it as a problem. Look at how can I grow from this? What can I learn from this? What can I glean from this? The no-limit person does not look at the rain and say, it shouldn't be raining, darn it. It was not in the forecast to rain. And arguing with what is. The no-limit person recognizes that it is what it is. The fact is that it is raining. The fact is that my children or my child is not behaving the way I would prefer them to behave. I wanted to share with you one of the readings, and I know you've heard it before, but I think it's a good one to remind ourselves of. It's from Khalil Gibran, and it's his short little essay on children. And actually, I have a song on my CD, well, my iPod that comes up every so often, and it's from Soul Voice. It's those 4 women that we had here many years ago that got together and they sang all a cappella, and they sang this as a song. And so as I'm reading it, I'm hearing this song go through my head. It says, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And they, though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. People do things in life that we would rather not have them do. And many times it's our children that are challenging us in one way or another, especially as we get older and they are grown and they have thoughts and lives of their own. Although I'll tell you what, I've been watching a 2-year-old. Well, she's now 2 and 5 months old. The terrible TTs, the terrible twos are starting to come forth in our experience at my son's home. Adeline will get upset or whatever and not get her way, and she just, everything stiffens and starts crying and screaming anyway. So we want to be a little bit more mature than that in our responsibility of being for ourselves. To me, that being responsible means is that we accept what is. It is what it is. When Adeline did her little thing the Friday, I just had to recognize that that's what she's doing, not to get upset, which I was on the edge of. I will have to admit that. And just recognize, she's doing what she's doing. I'm not going to change it. I can't make it any different. So I just pulled up my phone. I thought, well, let me see what's on Facebook. And just ignored her for a little while. And sure enough, she came around. And maybe that's what a lot of us need sometimes, is if we're spilling and we're venting, maybe we can just let that person have their space and know that they'll come back around when they can. So that's one of my mantras that I've been saying many, many times is, it is what it is. You can't change the rain. You can't change well, aren't we blessed to have this little bit of a breeze? But I will say it's warmer this Sunday than it was last Sunday. But I believe, according to the forecast, that the temperatures are going to be coming down. So that's a good thing. So we can only change what's going on in our minds. That's the only thing that we can really change, our response to what's happening. Dyer said, since the ancestor to every action is a belief or a thought, you can work on changing all of it. The ancestor of a belief or a thought, you can work on changing all of it. And he said the simple statement is true. If you keep telling yourself that you cannot do something, you will act on that belief. How many things have we said to ourselves, well, I can't do that? And of course, we act on that belief. And yet we are infinite beings. We aren't here to limit ourselves. We want to turn that thinking around and be available for spirit, for that archer that Gibran talked about, to use us. That archer is happy with us no matter what, because that archer knows us as our true self. And when we can see others in their true self in that way, we will be happy with them. One of the other things that I would suggest that we can do to change our consternation of what is, again, it's very simple. We all know it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. That's one of the songs on the toddler station that we listen to all the time from Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. We've gotten to the point where we say, Alexa, skip that one. But we just let it go. Let go of what the consternation is and live in the moment. Live in what's really happening right now. Abraham Maslow said the highest level individuals have peak experiences as their purpose in life. A peak experience is to be totally, completely, thoroughly involved in the moment. We can train ourselves to be thoroughly involved in the moment and have peak experiences. I have a cup of coffee that has a little saying on it. It says, and it's attributed to Abraham Lincoln, we can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. It's all a matter of perspective. and what we're looking at and what we're accepting to experience for ourselves. Dyer said, the only difference between a flower and a weed is a judgment. So I've been driving from down the hill out to Monday through Friday, down to North Park. North Park. And I've recognized and I've observed recently that the amount of trash on the freeways is building up a lot more than it ever had before. And I look at it and go, I'm noticing it. I go, wow. And of course, I'm judging that, well, that shouldn't be there. I don't like that there. Somebody needs to clean that up. How come nobody's cleaning that up? And I asked a friend of mine who works for Caltrans, I go, have you noticed it, or is it just me that it seems like there's more trash lately? What's going on? And she said, oh yes, that's because we're not able to use, and she coined a phrase, and I don't remember what it was, but anyway, it's the people who are in the prison systems or in that kind of type of situation, they were utilizing them to pick up the trash. And she says now they're being utilized by a lot of other people or something like that, so we don't have them like we used to. And so I thought, okay, well that explains why it's there. And then I thought, you know, Gay, as I'm driving down the freeway and I look at all these things that are built up in certain areas, I thought, I can just look at them as flowers. I can just perceive, well, that's a new species of flowers right there. Because there's no difference between a flower and a weed, just my thinking about it. I know if I wanted to be an activist, I could try to organize people and get out there and clean it up. I'm not, drawn to do that. But I can change my thinking on that it is there. It is what it is. And whether I look at it as something I can accept and turn it around in my head another way, that's my choice. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So with the advent of the changes, major changes that are going on right now in society, and we feel more are coming, really, it almost seems like we're on the tip of the iceberg. I wanted to share something with you out of Dyer's book that I just thought was amazingly poignant for this time in society. So it's a little on the lengthy side, but I think it's worth it. We must always remember that everyone deserves our love. Until we start thinking that way, we're going to have dichotomies. We're going to always have you versus me, us versus them. As long as there's that us-ness and me-ness and you-ness, there will never be an all of us together. What we need to do is go up in a spaceship together and look down at Earth and recognize that we are all inhabitants of this fragile little planet. Instead of looking for the things that separate us, instead of building more weapons to destroy us, we must begin looking for ways that we can all get along. As hokey as it sounds, if we don't do this, we won't survive as a species. Or it'll be left to generation billions of years from now who can evolve past the Holocaust that we've created to learn the essential messages of all great religious leaders, philosophers, and spiritual people, that we are love, and we are the essence of what makes this whole thing work. It's all within us. The truth won't be revealed to any of us until we recognize that we're a part of that truth. We're all a part of it, and we're all one. Feel that accepting energy, that we are all this love and expression. And I absolutely loved the analogy that Dyer gave that we read in the Thought for the Week, that if you squeeze an orange, no matter what you're going to use to squeeze it with, the orange juice will come out of it. Whatever's inside is going to come out. So to me, that we keep rejuvenating, rebathing, rebirthing ourselves with this love, washing this love through us. And every day to bathe in that light and beauty of love in our thoughts and in our feelings. We are all that love. There is only one. There is only wholeness. And when we can get that, we won't hurt another person because we're actually hurting ourselves. The Dalai Lama, in his daily practices, recites the following prayer. It's entitled The 8 Verses on Training of the Mind. Whenever I associate with anyone, may I think myself the lowest among all and hold the others supreme in the depth of my heart. When I see beings of wicked nature, pressed by violent sin and affliction, may I hold these rare ones dear, as if I had found a precious treasure. When others, out of envy, treat me badly with abuse, slander, and the like, may I suffer the defeat and offer the victory to others. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope hurts me very badly, may I behold him as my supreme guru. In short, may I, directly and indirectly, offer benefit and happiness to all beings. May I secretly take upon myself the harm and suffering of all beings. I encapsulated that, what spoke to me in that prayer of live with compassion. Be teachable and humble. And offer benefit and happiness to all. I found a quote by Charles Evans Hughes. How many of you know who Charles Evans Hughes was? He's no longer with us. Well, of course, the one person in here knows that. Okay. Well, I had to look him up because I didn't know. He lived from 1862 to 1948. He was an American statesman, Republican Party politician, and the 11th Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He was also the 36th governor of New York, the Republican nominee in the 1916 presidential election, who was barely beat out by the Democrat Woodrow Wilson, and the 44th United States Secretary of State. That's where this man is coming from when he said this statement. A man has to live with himself, and he should see to it that he always has good company. So true. We should always be good company, meaning that we start with ourselves, that we're kind to ourselves, that we're compassionate with ourselves. I know that we all desire to be happy. And happiness is an inside deal. It's not dependent on what's going on out there, whether it's raining or whatever the case might be. If I'm stuck in traffic, that's not the deal. The deal is that we are bringing out what we have within us. And let's have it be good company. Esther Hicks, who is also known as Abraham, she channels Abraham. Her quote is very simple. Good feels good. Good feels good. Happiness feels good. We all want to feel good. See yourself as that accepting, loving, beautiful person, no matter what you see in the mirror. See that beauty that is within coming out. Let go of wanting things to be different than they are. You can't change them. You can change your mind. Live in the moment. Live in the now. If nothing else, just take a deep breath. That will always bring you back to center. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Live with compassion. Know that if it weren't by the grace of God, there go I. Be teachable and humble. And offer benefit and happiness to all. So let's get happy this month. Let's find ways to bring that smile to our face, that joy to our heart, and share it with others. Let that love out this coming month. Love you all. Namaste.